All righty. Well, good to see you, Stephanie. Thanks for being a part of our iconic mentor conversations. Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Kwame. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm just such a supporter of the good work you do, so I'm delighted to participate.
No, well, it's great to have you. You are a leader in the community. You've always leaned into mentorship. Thank you for being a supporter of Big Brothers and Big Sisters and a supporter of me. And we are in January, which is National Mentoring Month, as you know. So it's all about mentorship. And thank you for being a part of our iconic mentor auction, where individuals can bid on you to spend some time with you, get some mentoring from you, and those proceeds go to support, Big Brothers and Big Sisters making more matches. So, I know you were part of Rotary and Leadership Atlanta together, but I'd love for our viewers to learn a little bit about you and your business and just who you are. You're doing some amazing things, and I'd love for our viewers to know a little bit about you.
Thank you. I've had an eclectic background. I'm an attorney, went to the University of Georgia undergraduate and law school, and I practiced law as a public defender for over a decade. And then I ran and got elected to the Georgia legislature. I served as a state representative for 14 years. And then I served as head of sustainability for the city of Atlanta. I practiced environmental law for several years as well and taught environmental law at the University of Georgia School of Law. And then 4 years ago, I had the unexpected opportunity to buy my family's legacy business, which had been out of our family hands for about 50 years. And I did that. And I'm now running Stuckey's, which is known for as a chain of roadside retail stores, but we are now focusing our growth on making pecan snacks and candies. I just happen to have one right here. And so that's what we're doing is we're reviving this iconic brand by making pecan snacks and candies. We have a candy plant in Rennes, Georgia. And I put this in my material as a little bonus. Whoever bids on me, you can have a tour of our candy plant as well.
Oh, wow, that's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
I'm sweetening the deal.
No, definitely. And we've been eating your candy at the office. Thanks for sending over some
Yeah,
during the holiday season. But no, that's an amazing story and background, right? I know there's a lot of pieces in between all of that to go, from public defender to now running,
I know.
a family business. Is like I don't think I've met anybody with that background. But obviously to get to where you are and had all the achievements in your life, there had to be mentors that played a role, different people
Yeah.
who were there along the way. And I'd love for you to share a few of those folks and how they helped you get to where you are today.
Sure. Well, one that folks in the metro, well, I have two that folks in the metro, well, actually, all three of them are from Metro Atlanta, so folks should know them. Mary Margaret Oliver, who served in the legislature with me, actually started out as my boss. I was the staff attorney for the Senate Judiciary Committee, and she just taught me the art of perseverance. I remember one time I had this bill. It was to allow for Georgia to sell higher alcohol beer, which has opened all sorts of economic development opportunities. We now have craft beer in Georgia thanks to this law. That law took 6 years to pass and failed twice on the House floor. And I remember after one of those times that it failed, just having a meltdown. I was in the bathroom crying. And she just came in and it was like, mush on. Don't let people see you cry. You've got this. Dry the tears. You're just going to go out there and fight another day, and this thing will get passed. So just absolute, relentless pursuit of your goals is what I learned from her. And then Bill Bowling, who has done so much with the Atlanta Community Food Bank and now retired, he's still incredibly involved in food and homeless issues and making sure that the unhoused in our communities are finding safe places to live. He taught me the value of whatever you do, you're building community. And I think that's what Big Brothers Big Sisters does. And even in my role as a candy plant owner, we're building community. We're building connections between pecan farmers and consumers and taking product to market. And how can we be creative in the ways that we introduce people to Georgia's native nut? And it's all about building community and a sense of belonging. So I learned that from Bill and many other mentors, but those are just two that I wanted to lift up today.
No, those are really good ones, and I like those
Yeah.
quite a bit. And those are definitely two big leaders in the city and the community as well. So thanks for sharing that. And as I really believe that young people need to see it to believe it. Young people want to see a testimony; they don't want to hear one.
Yeah.
And you are a living example of what success looks like for the younger generation, for young women coming up in the field. Like what advice would you give to like your 12-year-old self or a younger person trying to, figure out life and make it to the next level?
I would say don't lose your innocence and your naivete and your sense of fun and adventure. I think too often when you're young, you think of those as setbacks or things that aren't really of value. But I actually think having a sense of not knowing it all is really helpful. And so don't discount yourself. See that almost as a strength. And I'll give example. When I had the opportunity to buy Stuckey's, I shopped it around to several financial advisors to get their input. And the first two I sent it to said, absolutely do not do this. It's a terrible decision. It's losing money. It's lost its market value. It's a waste. And then the third person said, you should do this. There's something that's not on the balance sheet, and it's the value of the brand. And I did it, and I haven't regretted it. And it's frankly what I was meant to do, is what I was put on this earth to do. And had I not been, frankly, a little bit naive and thinking, I can do this, it's possible, I wouldn't have done it. So don't lose your naivete, don't lose your sense of this is possible. Don't get jaded. Carry that throughout life with you, and I think it will serve you really well. It certainly helped me.
No, I love that. And I was actually just in a session where this leader was talking about things that are not on the balance sheet that are still valued,
Ah,
and the staff and the culture, the brand, the things you talk about that sometimes don't get captured on a balance sheet, but are very valuable to a business. So that's amazing that you're able to do that. And it's obviously worked out for you, right? Every time I talk to you in some
yes.
part of the country doing different things with the business. So that's
Yeah.
great. And to achieve the level of success you've had in different fields you've been in, you definitely have to have something you're good at or a superpower, I call it. I think we all have different gifts that are given to us and superpowers. Like, what would you say has been a superpower or superpowers that you've used to help you be successful?
I think it's building a team. I've really studied leaders I admire, and they're all over the place as far as their personality types. You see really gregarious, outgoing leaders, and then you see some who are more thoughtful and introverted. But every single leader, in my opinion, who's just been hugely successful, has had the capacity to build a team. And you surround yourself with really smart people who fill in your gaps. And it's not just your gaps and maybe your skill sets, but also your personality. If you're an extrovert, maybe pair yourself with an introvert who can be a little more deliberative and thoughtful than you are. And so all of that is really important to achieve a sense of balance and a holistic approach. So I started out with Stuckey's. It was pretty much me. And then we had 5 employees. It was pretty lonely. We now have 75 employees, and there's a whole leadership team. I have 2 business partners. We have an amazing core exec team. So I just think the best thing I've done to save this company and bring it back from virtually the dead is the fact that I've assembled a great team, and they're all amazing. And without them, this company that we're running and bringing back would be nothing. So build a team and don't be afraid to give up some power. It's really not giving up power, it's sharing, and it's creating something really beautiful. But in order to do that, you've got to be willing to have some smart people around you and let them shine as well.
I love it. And you have to be humble, right? To even think about team. It's not
Yes.
about just us as
Yeah.
leaders. It's really about the folks around us who help us all win, help all the boats and, rise with the
Yeah.
tide. So I really like that team aspect. I follow that as well. And
100%.
so definitely. So last question, you talked about your mentors, you talked about your superpowers to help you get to where you are. What are like some daily habits? Like what would you give to another leader or young person about some daily habits that have been helpful to you in your success?
The most important thing I do, I sleep. I get a good night's sleep. It makes all the difference getting just feeling refreshed. And so I've really been deliberate every night. I try to be in bed by a set time. It's usually pretty early. I'm kind of nerdy. And I'm in bed and I put away all the electronic devices and I read. I read a book. I've always got at least one book that's a hard book that I'm reading. And then I always have an audible book that I listen to. And one's usually like nonfiction, which tends towards being a business book. And then one is always just pure fiction. And so I read and I sleep and I make time for doing things that really bring me joy, like going out for a walk and getting exercise. So all of those basic things help you perform better. So the business side is not just hunkering down on work, it's making sure that you're eating right, you're sleeping, you're taking care of yourself, and you're bringing your absolute best self to the table when you're working with your team.
Listen, I double pound the sleep. I think
Yeah,
it's overrated and underrated. People don't
yeah,
realize sleep matters. And one thing I would add to your list is working out. Like you say, you do the walks.
yeah,
For me in the morning, it's a workout, get my mind right, get my body moving, get
yes.
hydrated, water, clear my mind, and I'm ready to go. So very
Hydrate.
important.
I
Yep,
always have a
all
glass
that.
of water by me, always.
Oh my gosh, I tell you, it means those things mean a lot, not just today, but 10 years from now. What you do now, your
Yeah,
body will see in 10 years from now. So,
yeah,
Stephanie, again, I appreciate you being a part of these conversations. I appreciate you being an iconic mentor in our iconic mentor auction, which runs through the end of the month. So those that are watching, you can still bid on leaders like Stephanie and others who are, giving their time to mentor someone. And you guess what? You get a backstage, behind the scenes look
yeah.
at what Stephanie's doing if you win the bid. So go to our website, Big Brothers Big Sisters Metro Atlanta, and you can make your bids there. But again, Stephanie, I appreciate you. I'll see you at Rotary probably next week, and safe travels.
Thank you.
All right, we got it.